Hi everyone. So it's time for my favorite decks of summer 2016. I can't believe that we're already here. It is amazing. I don't have a huge list this year, guys. I'm going to do a separate video of my 2 all-time favorite decks, and or maybe I'll do my top 5, because I'm not going to include my top 2, which is Tarot of Vampires and the Isis Oracle, in this summer video, because you guys all know at this point, for the most part, that those are my 2 favorite decks, and I work with them continuously all year. And if you don't, you know now, because I just said that. So those 2 are my home decks. They are always on all of my altars. I have multiple copies, and I use them all the time. They go everywhere with me. So those 2 decks I always work with, but this is more seasonally the decks that I'm working with, what's coming up for me. You're going to find that there's a lot who've come over from spring as well, and that feels really good for me. Wow, there's a lot of purple for this summer. I just realized on the backings. It feels really good for me, and I'm excited to explore a deeper connection. I'm feeling, again, a real call to kind of step back, to pare back on the decks that I'm working with, because the ones that I'm working with right now I'm feeling so much love for and such connection to that there are certain decks that I can feel are ready to move on to new people, and they will find their new homes when the time is right. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. You know, I get excited just as much as when I get a deck as when it's time to give it away, because you know that it's going to someone who's ready to work with it, and it's really cool. It's like, it's just exciting. It's exciting. So, I am working with one of the Soul Cards decks. I cannot remember if this is 1 or 2. So it's the one with this darker backing. It's not the green backing. I have not combined my Soul Cards decks. They feel, for me, really different. And so I have one on my kitchen altar and one on my upstairs bedroom altar. And this one is the one that's on my kitchen altar, so I use it the most throughout the day. And I have to say that I didn't really want to get on the Soul Cards bandwagon, because it was like really popular there for a while, and everybody was using them and talking about them, and I'm kind of like over that for the most part, like just getting a deck because everybody says it's cool. Like, decks really have to speak to me now, but my best friend had gotten both editions, and she was like, oh my God, Racine, you have to try this. And she was right, as usual. These cards have been really, really healing for me, personally. I've only used this deck with one client so far. It's been much more of a personal healing exploration. So this is Soul Cards. Again, I can't remember if it's 1 or 2, but it's the one with the more maroon backing. And it's beautiful. And these cards are wonderful for meditation and for journeying. So, very, very powerful. There's also a real marriage of the masculine and the feminine with the Soul Cards that feels really good for me as my, on my path, both as a witch and as a shamanic priestess. And I'm feeling really called this year to honor the shamanic priestess self and the selves that I have been in priestess space. And this deck really, really, really aligns very beautifully with that message for me. So the next deck is the Soul Trees, Wisdom of the... I'll put the link below because I can never remember the name of this deck. This is an independently produced deck. And it's all trees. And it is like... oh my God. I love this deck so much. It has such a soft, ancient voice. Like, if it is a tree, it's a tree. There are tree voices that come forward. And there is like a little bit of a guidebook, but you're not really supposed to get totally immersed in the guidebook, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. It's funny because for so many years guidebooks have been so important for me. Just for me, I love to study. I love to, mark up my books and write notes and journal off of things and do more research and go deeper, and then like when it comes to reading, I'm totally intuitive. I let go of all that. But I love the study aspect from a student perspective. I always have. But I'm finding more and more with my decks that I don't even really connect with the guidebooks as much anymore. And I'm just totally reading constantly at all times now in an intuitive space. And the guidebooks, while I enjoy them and I get a lot out of them, I'm not attached to finishing an entire guidebook any longer. So with the Soul Trees, which I'm pretty sure is the name of the deck. Oh, by the way, really, could it get any better? With the Soul Trees, I haven't even read the little white book that she has with it. I've just worked with the cards, and really, really powerfully so. So this summer, this deck is on my piano and is an important one. And I do feel that she will work with clients, but we're not there yet. We're still working together. The next deck is the Gospel of Aradia, and I have a review that I'm working out the timing in July for when these videos will get uploaded. But there either is a review of this or there will be very soon, and it's a very specific way that I'm working with this deck. It's for healing the mother wound. And so I am not using this deck for clients, and it's very specific. It's just at this point in time for mother wound work for me that I connect with this deck. And it's been very powerful for that work. It's been very specific, and I'm really connecting with it for that, and very thankful to do so. So this deck I will be working with quite a bit, but for very specific healing purposes. Yeah, it's a nice solid deck from Stacey DeMarco and Jimmy Manton. It's not going to disappoint, however you choose to work with this deck. So again, this is the Gospel of Aradia. Oh, I'll show you one more. This one wants to be shown. There's that one. So, yeah, very specific use, but have been and will be working with this one a lot. Next, I've been keeping this in the box, which is so weird for me. You guys know that I don't do this. I like my decks to breathe, but whatever. This is the Whispers of Lord Ganesha deck. I uploaded a reveal, and we'll post a review soon on this. This is a newer deck. It's by Angela Hartfield. This deck is like, I have to say, it's so spot on, and like, it's uncanny how perfect the messages are for each moment of the day when I pull a card from this deck. And not my typical artwork, but Ganesha has been calling my name really powerfully, and this deck came out like just at the right time for this relationship with him deepening, and so I'm ready, and he's speaking very, very lovingly but very clearly to me, and it's awesome. It's really, really awesome. And it's a Blue Angel deck, so beautiful cardstock. I love that there are no borders on the back. I mean, on the image. It really doesn't disappoint at all. And this will be the last one that I show. Oh, wait, I want to show this one because I freaking love this image. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So this is the Whispers of Lord Ganesha deck, and I've been using this personally, and it's basically, at this point, only daily draws with this. Sometimes multiple daily draws, to be honest. Okay, hold on. I need a sip of tea now. I've been working with the Faeries Oracle by Brian Froud as well. I tend to work with the Heart of Faeries Oracle in the winter and the spring, and then I work with this deck more summer, fall. And as many of you know, this is like my third or fourth copy. In fact, one of you beautiful souls, you know who you are, sent me her own copy of this deck because she wasn't feeling like drawn to work with it anymore, and I lose this deck all the time. Like, it just disappears on me. So this is literally I think it's my 4th copy now of this deck. This deck is like the most... This one and Heart of Fairies are how I experience the Fae. It's how I experience Fae energy. And it's like, I just want to like say this, it's no joke to connect with the Fae. They're not Disney fairies. It's not like, and I don't mean this negatively if you love Doreen Virtue, but I don't connect with the Fae like Doreen does. Like, that's not my experience of the Fae. There are many offshoots, many types of Fae, and each one has its own magic and medicine and is very kick-ass and really tongue-in-cheek, precocious, some of them. Some of them are very serious and very dangerous, and you have to, like, I don't know if dangerous is the right word, but you've got to approach with honor and respect, and you've got to be really clear about where you are and who you are while you're interacting with them. And there might be a message of healing, there might be a contrary message. They can get all, you know what I'm trying to say here. So this deck is like the perfect reflection of how I experience Fae energy, and so is Heart of Fairies Oracle. And I think summer and fall is a very intense time with that energy, in a visceral way. So this deck usually comes forward in summer and fall, I've been finding recently over the last few years. And I'm very much enjoying working with this. So this is the Fairies Oracle, the first deck by Brian Froud. Jessica MacBeth wrote the guidebook, and it's one of the most badass guidebooks I've ever read. That one and the Tarot of Vampires guidebooks are those two are my all-time favorite guidebooks ever. So if you're new to working with cards, it's a great way to start. If you're new to working with the Fae, that guidebook is a wonderful reference point, like better than a lot of fairy books, in my opinion. I'm going to save that one. Okay. The Venus Rising Oracle. This is a gift from a beautiful, beautiful goddess for me. And love this deck so much. And I love her first deck, Audi Art's first deck, Love Your True Colors. It's a gorgeous deck, and I'm going to work with it more at some point, but I'm so in love with the Venus Rising Oracle that I can't stop working with her. And even though it's called the Venus Rising deck with a focus on the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine is represented here and holds valuable space and is honored valuably. And no guidebook, again, completely intuitive, so beautiful, and so poetic and feminine. I love this one. That I'm just in love with this deck. I can't even... I can't even. There's just no words, guys. It's just awesome. So this you can only buy on Etsy. She's, the artist has created the deck herself and sells them herself. It's an awesome way to support fellow healers and fellow artists who are making and creating beautiful, beautiful things. And this image, remember you are a visionary, is the last one I'll show. Oh wait, here's Honor the Masculine. So you can see that there is a masculine voice represented and honored. Oh my god, wait. Living in harmony with the mystery. So beautiful. So, yes, that was on my spring and still working with it on a nearly daily basis at this point. What am I going to show next? Okay. So next I'm going to show you the Messenger cards by Sandra Kuntz. I've done a review, a reveal. I've done a workshop with this deck. This deck is one of the most special decks created, and I think it is now in my top. So I'm not going to do just the top two because this one and at least one other deck are in my lifetime deck, need to be in a lifetime deck video. So this one is right up there with Tarot of Vampires and Isis Oracle for me. Hold on, how do I want everything to fall off the bed? Okay. there is just, this deck has such a clear, loving voice, and it lines up so powerfully with my own personal spiritual experience and beliefs, and in the message that I've come here to share with others. And so it is just such an honor and a gift that this deck has shown up and was created by an incredible, incredible goddess for all of us to work with. And it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. This is also independently created and produced, and you can buy it from her website or Etsy. I'll put the link below if I remember to do that when I upload this. Alright, here's something interesting. This is Grace, and the spirit animal is the swan. And like, now I can see her right here. But when I look at this card, I always think of a moth in a cocoon. And like this being like the piece of a leaf or something like that. Not a leaf, like the piece of whatever that the moth has, that the caterpillar's created her cocoon around. I don't know why. That is what I see. And that is the magic of this deck. Because there are messages within messages. There are spirit animals. There are other animals that come through with the spirit animals to share multiple messages when you work with this deck. It's a very, very special deck. And you rarely find totem animal or spirit animal decks that are this, like, really, really consciously created, in my opinion. And there are multiple messages from certain spirit animals, which is how I experience spirit animals. It's one of the first ways that I started developing a language with my intuitive self. And they, you know, the same animal will come forward with a message, and then another message, and a different message, and a different way of looking at things, and they walk with me for a time. And so I've never found a deck that does that. It's always like, well, if you see a wolf, this is what it means. I mean, medicine cards are great. I'm not, like, naysaying the medicine cards. But there isn't that personal connection. And this deck has that personal connection with the spirit animal and speaks to the way that I experience animal medicine and the way that I share it in my healing work as well. So it's been a gift to connect with this deck. So that's the Messenger cards by Sandra Kuntz. Okay, didn't miss anybody, right? I'm going to throw this one in here. I wasn't going to, but I can feel her. I can feel her. She's ready. Shadowscapes, which I have trimmed. This one's been sitting next to my bed, and she's been like, you know, it's really time. So she's talking to me right now. So yes, she's getting added to my list here. The others I have been working with, but Shadowscapes has been coming back in. She recently came out of vacation. This is a Llewellyn deck, so you can purchase it on Amazon or wherever you feel called to. And Shadowscapes is really beautiful, very poetic, very gentle, and yet potent. I'm sorry, this is the Devil. It is a very small card deck, so you do have to be willing to sit and explore the image in order to find the wealth of beauty within it. I've been working with this deck for a long time, and like I said, she always comes back. She always lets me know when she's coming back. Even in this video, she's like, girl, we are working together this summer. So this is the Shadowscapes Tarot. I need a sip of tea. And seriously, this next deck, like, I feel like I have to add it to my top life decks too, because this is the Ceccoli Tarot. This deck speaks to my inner child and to the way that I play with and explore mythology and archetypes in my personal life in a way that no other deck has. So again, this is the Ceccoli Tarot. I will love this deck for the rest of my life. I was so in love with Nicoletta Ceccoli's artwork, and then when I saw that she was creating a tarot deck, I was like over the moon, and I was like, there was no disappointment with this deck. It far exceeded my hopes for how, this is one of my favorite images, for how it would be and what it would feel like and how I would connect with it. So this is like, there are no words. I just love this deck so much. And I think because my mother was such a gifted artist and was really exploring that in my very formative years, like from 1 to 4, I kind of came in exploring symbolism. And this deck and Nicoletta's artwork just explores symbolism for me without having to be overtly symbolic. So this deck is really special and makes me want to cry talking about it. But there's a lot of power in this deck. And it's a great one for inner child work that lines up with your present experience very powerfully. It's kick-ass inner child work, I should say. So this is the Ceccoli Tarot by Nicoletta Ceccoli. It's freaking awesome. And she's doing an oracle deck I've seen as well, so I'm very excited for that. My final deck is Le Tarot de Femme Erotique. I am saying it wrong, I know. Please forgive me. This is, again, an independently produced and created deck. You can purchase it on Etsy and I think from their website. This deck is really encouraging me and assisting me in healing my mother wounds and coming back into balance with my experience of my... Oh, I'm sorry, nudity. Alert as I show you a naked woman. Exploring, releasing my mother wound, and stepping into an empowered experience, a beautiful experience with my body, my sexuality, my sensuality, and my feminine experience, and the sacred feminine. I know, it's a tall drink of water here that we're doing with this deck. But it is amazing, and as the years go by working with this deck, I love it even more, and I use it all the time, like all of the time. And this, it doesn't come with a guidebook. They provide one that you can access on their website. But I don't really access it because I feel like I connect with it so powerfully that I don't need it. And it's a more natural way of looking at the female body too, because these photographs are so old. That can be very healing if you are working on releasing eating disorders or any type of skewed view of the female body. So you can be masculine or feminine and having that skewed view. And, you know, it's not just for women. This deck isn't just for women. It's for men as well. And my husband enjoys working with it with me. So it isn't just for women. It's a powerful deck that encourages a releasing of wounds around the physical feminine body, the physical female body, and the sacred feminine as well. So if you're someone who feels a call to the sacred priestess, to the sacred prostitute, to the feminine, to the sacred feminine, to the goddess, if you're someone that really connects with that type of energy, if you're someone that connects with bee wisdom, if you're someone who connects with the Magdalene, if you're someone who feels that tantric connection of sexuality into the spirituality and the importance of that on the path, then this is a deck that's going to speak to you and speak to empowerment in that aspect and healing and releasing of what no longer serves in regards to that aspect as well. So I am working with this deck a lot right now. I have been throughout the spring. I think it was on my spring list. And I will continue to throughout the summer. Because I need to. It's important. It feels very, very important right now. So, yeah. So this is my number 1 for summer 2016. It's a really, really, really beautiful and essential deck in my opinion. So, there's the backing, guys. So this is my list. It's not a huge, like, I'm not over the top this summer. I'm really paring it back down to the essentials, and I'm doing a lot of soul searching and soul work and going within a lot. So, and I'm exploring that, as you will see, in my personal life, and my spiritual life, and my life as a healer, and in the life of this channel as well, where things are going to go. And that there is a shift happening, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like right now, but it is happening. So, so my work with my decks is very intense right now, and it's very specific, and that's why the list isn't huge. And it's really exciting for me because, you know, this is the dirt of life that makes life worth living, because this is when you do a lot of expansion in the darkness. And, there's such a connection to the Egyptian pantheon for me right now, and the sun god Ra, in a way that, like, I've never explored before. So I'm very excited about that. I'm not going to go into too much detail with that, because I'm not oversharing right now. But yeah, it's just amazing. And these decks, I'm very blessed that they continue to walk with me. And, you know, the new decks that have come in, the Gospel of Aradia, Whispers of Lord Ganesha, are beautiful complements and really marrying well with these decks that have held a lot of space for me for a long time. So, yeah, these are my decks, guys. So let me know what yours are. What are you guys working with this summer? What have you feel called to bring in? Like, you guys saw Shadowscapes talking to me even during this video. Like, nope, add me to that list, girl, because we're working together. So what decks are you feeling that call to? Are they different decks for you? Are they the same beautiful ones that have worked with you for some time? Is there a deck that surprised you that comes in? I love it when that happens for me too. Like Whispers of Lord Ganesha is my, like, surprise. A deck I didn't think I would need to purchase or would want to purchase. And it felt so called to, and it's been so healing. So let me know, guys. I'm sending you much love and many blessings as always. Take care, guys. Bye.